There you go.
Well, Bob just found a shell. Look at that.
It's another Hotchkiss, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna have a fuse in it too. Bob, really? I literally walked right here.
It was not a very good signal. Maybe I shouldn't have been hitting that with the shovel so many times. All right.
Oh man.
So that one's gonna have to be sent off to be
Yeah, it looks
demilled.
like it's gonna have the fuse right there.
Yeah.
Unless, yeah. What if it's not a shell? Imagine it's not.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it is. Like, that's the bottom, that's the body. That's absolutely.
Yep. So how many is that for you?
Hush up, Bob.
Hello, folks. Daddy's just trying to get rocks and stuff off of this shell. So, Dad,
What, baby?
you say the words that you want to say.
I say the words I want to say.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be done with this shell.
Yeah.
But I like doing this.
Yeah, the
And
shell.
after this, we'll go rinse it off real good, okay?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're doing this again because Mom talked.
So this is our electrolysis setup. After you find it, depending on if it's in the mud or in the rocks, it can become one with whatever's around it. So you might have to take a hammer sometimes and tap off all the rocks and other stuff that could be stuck to it. And this is the step after that. You got the positive going into the piece of metal and the negative,
Your sacrificial.
yes, the piece of metal that slowly eats itself over time. And then you have the negative going into the shell.
How are they connected to the shell?
We use a screw that we trap a copper wire, as you can see, going into the shell, and it gives it a stronger connection.
So we'll drill into the shell a little bit and then take the screw, put the wire into the hole, then just put the screw in, and it makes a nice clean connection. Then the way you know it's working is, it's hard to see in here because this has been running so long, but there's actually bubbles coming up off of these shells. We have 2 in there right now. So that is step 2 if you have to clean anything off of the shell before putting it in. You want as much off as you can without damaging your base metal. And then from here, we'll give it a scrub, make sure we got all the rust off of it we can, and then we'll go to a wax bath.
Oh man, I could just grab it and feel everything falling off.
Yeah, let all that water run out. So as you can see, this thing, go ahead and start light scrub on it. Just getting all that loose material off of it. It looks so much better than it did. And the cracks, and Caroline saw a lizard. And so we'll get this thing wiped off. If there's any corrosion that we can't get off that's deep, we'll put it back in a little longer. But after this step, normally we will be heading to wax. Okay, so we got this out here out of electrolysis, and what I've been doing is using this brush here, just a hard bristled brush, to really get in there and start scrubbing this thing to get all the loose debris, corrosion off of it that the electrolysis took care of. And if we had to, I don't think we'll have to this time, as I did last time. This has been electrolysis for several days. I took it out once and kind of used a Dremel to get some of the deep stuff out, and then put it back in for what I couldn't get. So that one's been scrubbed, this one's been scrubbed, and what we'll do from this point, I'm going to wash these off real good, and hopefully our wax will be melting soon. and we'll show you how we get that set up. Hey Caroline, tell everybody, what is that?
It's a Hotchkiss shell.
A Hotchkiss shell, that's right. Just came out of electrolysis, didn't it?
Yes.
It looks good, huh?
Uh-huh.
We did a lot of work on it, and what are we gonna do with it soon? Put it in the wax?
Yes.
Yep, so stay tuned. It's got that zinc
Yeah.
adapter in there.
Yes.
Gotta be
Which
real
means-
careful around it.
Yeah, we gotta try to not get that off.
All right, got my blocks of wax in there, melting. That off there. Just went blank on what kind of wax it is. I'll put it up on the screen because I'll remember as soon as I turn this off. Got my thermometer going. The wax is starting to melt down there. Soon we'll have 3 shells going in. I don't know why I can't ever remember how slow of a process it is to melt this wax. I'm going to be pushing it when it comes to daylight. Yeah, minor crisis averted. My tank I had here ran out on me after about an hour. I didn't realize it was that low, but fortunately I had a spare. I was able to hook it up and just turn the wax back on, starting to bubble again. I think that temperature is a little lower than what it actually is, because I think water boils at, what is it, 212, something like that, and that's saying it's not even 200 yet, but there's obviously something boiling off out of those shells. So I've got them in there, they're cooking, getting all the moisture to come out of the shell. It's going to take a while. It's already 7 o'clock and it'll be dark before this is done, and it'll be bubbling here quite a bit here soon, like a pot of water. So you got to keep an eye on that, keep an eye on your temperature. As that starts to rise up, it's going to get a kind of a film on it. You don't want that rising up and spilling over. You're going to have a fire. So you've got to keep a close eye on this. I do have a fire extinguisher here, but anyway, when it stops boiling, then you know it's done. And it's time to get the shells out, and I'll put them right over here. Got a cardboard box with some this wax paper. Doesn't stick to it quite as bad as the cardboard, so you can save your wax that way and use it again. So anyway, while this is going, I'll be close by keeping an eye on it while I get a James shell ready for electrolysis. We're rolling now. Just got to keep an eye on that. You don't want it bubbling up over the top. Probably going to turn it down a little bit here in just a minute, but I don't see any yet. But sometimes you'll also end up getting some powder, pitch, things like that start coming out of the shell, breaks loose inside the shell, and that moisture bubbling out, and will gather on the top, and you just scrape that off and you can hold on to it. And you know it's done when it stops bubbling. I couldn't remember the type of wax earlier. It's a paraffin and microcrystalline wax, a mixture of that. Basically, it's the temperature boils out any of that moisture, and then once that stops and it cools, you'll see later, let it sit for a little while, kind of dab it off, get the extra stuff off, and acts as a preservative. One question I commonly get is it possible for these shells to explode in this wax bath? I mean, the true answer is yes, anything's possible, but not if you can really narrow down your risk of that. Sorry, some moron going by on a motorcycle. Anyway, you can reduce your risk of that by taking the steps ahead of time. to take precautions, such as anytime you get a shell, especially if it has a fuse in it, get that thing drilled and flushed to make sure it's safe. Get it disarmed. I send mine to a couple guys down in Georgia who do it professionally, do it safely, as safe as possible. They've got a system set up where they actually drill it remotely, and so I'll send it down to them, and when I get it back, put it in electrolysis and then in the wax bath. And the only chance these things are really going to explode after 165 years of being in a creek, which is where most of our shells come from, or even in the ground just exposed to the elements, it's only going to be if there's a sealed cavity within that shell. Normally your powder and stuff like that is deteriorated to the point it's not going to flash to the point where it's going to make that shell explode. Your issue is going to be any moisture inside that shell is creating steam inside of a airtight cavity, and what's going to happen is basically it's eventually going to expand to the point it's going to explode. So all these are drilled out, they've been made safe, and so now we just wait. And when those bubbles stop, we'll pull them out. Oh! Good grief.
I'm leaving.
Preston decided to grace us with his presence. He's been at hockey, so he's all sweaty and nasty.
Hey,
What are we doing here?
what are we doing? More like, what are you doing?
Slowing down a little bit. Told Preston just a little while ago it looked like as Bob said, a witch's cauldron. Bubbling like crazy, so hopefully within the next couple hours this thing will be done. Some of us have to work tomorrow and get up. Well, that took forever. It's now dark out. Just pulled them out. Shine the slide over here, buddy. Just got them out of there and right over here using these. So we'll give those just a few minutes to cool a little bit, and then we'll bring a paper towel out and kind of blot them off a little bit. When they fully dry, we'll give them a good brush. But it's going to be a few, so we'll let them cool down a little bit. Give them about 10-15 minutes. Okay, well, last night things didn't go exactly as planned when it came to waxing these shells. They did fine in the wax. It just took a lot longer than I expected. So it was late and dark. See the photo of what they looked like when we pulled them out of the wax. And the only thing you really missed was once you get the shells out of the wax, we waited about 15-20 minutes just to let them cool just enough to where you can at least somewhat move them around without absolutely burning fire out of your hands. Then we came out with the paper towel, which you'll do is just lightly dab, you know, the areas of the shell where your wax is built up, kind of smooth it out, make it nice and even, and then you'll just let them sit and dry. And that's where we are now. These have sat, they're nice and cool. So the next thing we're gonna do is take one of these, just a common shoe polish brush, and all I'm gonna do is take it and give them a light polish. Just go over the whole shell. It kind of gives it a better finish, looks a little nicer, evens everything out without gouging into your wax or anything like that. So I'll go over all three of these, and when we're done, next step will be showing you guys completed shells.